What's up? We're back with Real Talk Ireland, and I'm Sarah, and I just want to say thanks so much to Ash and Trish for that unreal interview and conversation. It was so insightful. So our next guest is Nathan Mack, a really good friend of mine and a fellow musician based in Dublin. So Nathan, do you want to give us a little bit of information about you?
Information about me. I have like pages and pages of information about me. My name is Nathan MacDonald. I have been a songwriter for about a decade now. I have been performing for about 15 years. I started when I was about 14 as a circus performer.
Wow.
I performed loads of different things in the circus for a couple of years. Then I injured myself really badly when I was in a musical called Anti-Capitalism, the Musical. And then I went into acting, I went into clowning, and eventually I found myself in music. Then I sort of farted about for all three of them for a few years, and then realized that music was the one that paid the most. So now I'm a musician.
That's really interesting to say that music was the one that paid the most.
You'd be surprised, honestly.
Because I'm not relating to that right now.
Just think of it this way. Think about how much money a clown makes.
Okay.
Exactly. They don't make much money at all.
Yeah.
Like, how many rich clowns do you know?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know anything.
Exactly. How many rich musicians? Well, you don't know them personally. You know? If we knew rich people, we wouldn't be poor.
That's a fair point. I really want to know more about your circus performing, though, if you don't mind. What was your role? Like, what were your acts?
Lots of different things. Because it was for about a decade, I would always move from one thing to another. You know, I was really young, so I was really excited about learning new things. And I was really quick to pick stuff up, which is a double-edged sword. Fast learners usually, they get something really quickly, and then when they hit a block, they can't stick with it. So then they move on to something else.
Oh, so you get to like the peak, and then you go, okay, I'm done.
Well,
kind of thing?
It wouldn't be a peak; it'd be like a plateau. Like I'd be juggling clubs, and I'd get to nearly 5 clubs.
Wow!
And then I was like, no, I can't do this. I'm going to be an acrobat.
Have you done any like fire juggling or anything like that?
So I spent the better part of 2 years breathing fire on the streets of Swords. And we would do it for like €1. We'd be like, hey, give us €1 and I'll breathe fire. And then they'd give us €1 and we'd get enough money to buy our next bottle of gasoline so that we could continue doing it. And I had to stop because I was breathing fire at one point and I was running out of breath. And the tip of the flame started to get closer and closer and closer. And then I just went, whoa, and I turned away. And it just went all up the side of my face. Wow. No, don't worry, it was fine. I just had a really pink face. Yeah. I looked really sunburned.
Oh my god!
Not phased. No, but no. Then I had to stop because it's really like it's not nice for you. Like it's really if you're not doing it well, which I wasn't, it's really unhealthy.
It's not really unhealthy. It was probably for your lungs and
like usually you don't breathe in.
Yeah. I suppose. Yeah. I don't know how it works.
But no, you're right. No, you're right. Like there's always a degree of breathing in a little bit, you know.
There's actually a dragon.
Excuse me?
And out. She can breathe in and out. She's a dragon. Okay.
That's kind of where I ended up with a lot of the fire stuff. Fire was the thing I got paid for most because everybody who was hiring a circus performer, they were doing it for some event, and fire's the thing that everybody wants. It also was the thing that I used to get girls. Like my first ever serious girlfriend I got because I was spitting fire on a beach. She was so impressed, she eventually left her boyfriend.
I suppose like us women like something a little bit different, a niche. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like weird guys. Yeah. What is that? What is it about women and weird men? This is so strange.
What that mouth do?
Something to flex. So did you like tour with the circus, or did you do mostly events and stuff like that?
It was mostly events. It was a lot of theatre work, a lot of parade work, which is where most of the work was. And now this is all before 2008.
Any sword swallowing?
Okay, right. So it's all so when I was a kid, we went to go see
myself.
Okay.
Well, no. Seriously. So apparently everybody can learn sword swallowing, and we were told it's the weirdest bit of advice I was ever given. We said to this guy, "How do you learn how to sword swallow?" And he goes, "Go home and put a hose pipe down your throat." Whoa. Which sounds like bad advice, right? Don't say that to children because they'll probably do it. We tried it. It was awful. We didn't clean the hose pipe first, so it was kind of gross. Anyways, what we decided to do was we got red licorice ropes and tried to do it with red licorice ropes. We just kept eating.
Sorry, if you have been a child and have never tried to swallow a bit of spaghetti and pull it back out,
Yes.
like, I've done that. Like, that's
You're some sort of
Talent.
magician.
Step one, sword
Yeah.
swallowing.
talent.
Yeah. But no, it's really interesting because with sword swallowers, it is real. It's not like a collapsible sword. And they literally move their organs out of the way because it's definitely not a straight path. So you have to like move your heart out of the way, move your stomach in such a right way so that it goes in and doesn't
How?
cut through. I have no idea.
They can
I have no idea. But the
Wow.
body is super flexible, even on the inside.
Wow. That is incredible, honestly. I mean, I've known you for a couple of years.
Not for moving your organs.
But I want to know, like, how did you link that to, like, you know, moving into then music and then making your film as well?
So I grew up in Swords, and Swords had an amazing music scene. Like there were so many musicians because Swords is actually it's unofficially the biggest town in Ireland, and the demographic of people from 18 to 35 is currently the largest in Europe. I think and it definitely was when I was growing up.
Yeah.
So I would have had like 70, 60 friends every weekend, and they would have changed constantly, you know. So we would have parties and parties and parties. Someone's bound to bring a guitar. And because I was the circus guy and I loved the attention,
And circus guy,
circus
you know
guy.
what I'm saying? It's like a stripper on a stripper pole. You know how I do. I just did it what I did. I gotta do what I gotta do, you know.
Well, from there, that's how singing began. And it wasn't singing at the start; it was shouting. And then I noticed girls like
always starts
singing
like
as
that.
well.
X Factor.
Right? Yeah.
Been there, done that.
Before, like, you start off and you're not really singing; you're just saying words really loudly. And then a very close friend of mine said, "Nathan, you should go to BIM."
Okay.
And I was like, "No, fuck that." Wait, can I swear on this? Okay.
Of course you can. Of course you can.
I was like, no, fuck that, man. I want to be an actor. So I went to go to do theatre school. Now, we did a shit ton of drugs when I left school. And I was completely out of it on LSD. And I decided to go back to school to get my leaving cert so I could get into an acting course.
Whoa, just shout out to that.
Yeah.
He took LSD and look what happened
And
to him.
decided to go back to school. No, do drugs, stay in school. But so after the LSD trips, there were a lot of them, we all felt so creative and we wanted to make things. And so we started writing songs and they were terrible. I mean, like really bad songs. No, they're awful.
You got to write the bad songs
You
sometimes.
got to clean out the gutters. And so what I did, that's when I started writing. And I would have been about 19. So that's when music started to become a feature in my life. And it was only after I did my acting course that I did finally go into BIM, because myself and my friend who was trying to convince me we'd had a bit of success, we started a duo called the Untrained Professionals. Great name. Right. Yeah. I know. And then, what we do is he'd play guitar and sing. I would then be the front man. I would sing as well, and I'd play saxophone.
Of course. You got to be that little bit extra, like.
A little bit more. Circus people are what we call crusty, which is like they don't. I'm going to say not
They
all
don't change
of them.
their jocks.
A lot of them don't change their jocks. A lot of them don't shower. A lot of them don't wash. And it's part of the lifestyle.
Perform only.
That's all they, and sometimes not even that. Sometimes it's just drinking. And after my injury, I realized that I wouldn't always have use of my body. I always thought I was going to be a circus performer, and I was always going to be able to move and dance and spin, and I was always going to have this fit, energetic body that I could do anything with. And when I get injured, it's my first limitation. And so I'm like 20 years old and only coming up against my limitations now, which was tough. I went into a really dark place, and what got me out of it was writing and little bits of movement that I managed to do, which is why I ended up getting these tattoos. For those of you listening and not watching, I have tattoos on my wrist. And it's Om for Scríomh, which is writing in Irish, and then Gluas, which is movement in Irish. So that's a reminder of if ever there's a bad moment, I know that they're the two things I have to do to sort of get back to a good place.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
Which is funny because that leads me into the film then, because the film is about a circus performer who gets injured and then has to overcome this kind of physical block.
Yeah.
When I wrote the film last year, it's funny, I sent it to my friend who's mad into film, and he read the script and he just says, "Nathan, you've written a love story between yourself and yourself. Because the other person's a musician.
Okay.
So it's a circus
Yeah. I
performer
can see
falling
it,
in love with a
yeah.
musician, and they're both me,
Yeah.
essentially.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
I think
because
that's incredible, though. You didn't need outside like inspiration. You kind of got inspiration from your own life, your own background, and everything that you came from to get to this point. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? With
yeah.
circus performing music, and then you ended up making a film about it. That's why I find it so interesting. And you also feature your own music in the film as well.
Yeah, well, so the film is a very expensive attempt to sell my album. It's a
Right.
weird marketing ploy. It's a very roundabout way of doing
Yeah.
it, because the film cost more than the album. But I took 4 of the songs from the album, and that's how I wrote the story. I took the narrative of the songs and I connected them that way. So, like, the first song is about a breakup, which is what happens to the musician. Second song is a song called Spit on Me Sweetly, which is about a weird way to look at a sort of cute romance, like the start of a sort of gentle romance that they sort of get into. Then there's Broken and Beautiful, which is a song about how all the cracks in your personality, in your history, all the damage that you've suffered over the years actually makes you more beautiful for it. Which comes from an old Japanese art form called kintsugi, where you would have a broken cup or a broken plate and you would rejoin it and fix it, and then you'd paint the cracks gold. Or the thing you fixed it with would be golden.
Love that.
Yeah, it's
love
lovely,
that.
right? Yeah, it's
That.
gorgeous.
That's
That's actually
really good.
That's
little-
a nice tattoo
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
I might do that one.
this is my little plug. That's the next song that we're releasing.
My
Yes.
cracks and black
Shout out.
gold.
So yes, we got Broken and Beautiful, and for that part of the film, it's when the two lovers have kind of had a bit of a bad time, and they're sort of reconnecting, and they're getting all that trauma up, and they're sort of starting to accept each other's pain, really.
Wow.
And then finally, it's Learning Curve, which is the name of the film, and that's the song I wrote for the film, completely inspired by Burlesque, which I watched the other day.
Fantastic.
I always
The
rewatch that.
vocals for days.
And so that song is all about, what's that song about, really? It's about a second love. It's about learning to love again, which is kind of what a lot of the songs are about. Like Spit on Me Sweetly is very similar to that. Which I think the whole sort of arc of the film is about learning to get back on the horse, learning to fall in love again, learning to reach out for help and actually start doing things once more.
I love
Could
that.
I just ask a question about that? So, like, do you think learning to love again is a difference? Like, because I've only found love once, or like, I don't know what
Right.
percent. I've only found love once, but like, do you think it's different learning to love again?
Definitely, 100%.
Yeah?
And it's better.
Oh, okay.
You're going to love more the second time. And people are always like, oh, it's just different. Fuck 'em. It's better. So we still live in a very romantic world, like this kind of like Romeo and Juliet.
I haven't
I-
seen it. I haven't
Watch
seen.
Baz
What?
Luhrmann's
I haven't
Romeo and
witnessed
Juliet.
it myself.
Leonardo
I haven't
DiCaprio.
witnessed it myself. I'm just saying. I'm waiting. No, you're right. You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. Sorry.
No, but we live in a really romantic society, and it's kind of toxic. It's this kind of like, I love you, and if I can't have you, I'm going to kill myself, which is an awful way to live. And it puts a focus on love at first sight, puts a focus on like your first love is the love. It's not.
It could be,
It
but
could
it might
be.
not be, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, people.
And,
yeah, I
and
get
like
what you mean.
from my own philosophy, I would actually advise people to fall in love as many times as they can. Because every
unless
time
you're
it's
still with
different.
someone, don't be falling in
No,
love
no,
with
no, no.
someone
Fall in
else.
love with other people.
Girl, I snatched her off another man. Straight with the fire.
I just like,
man.
yeah, if you're watching this, yeah, don't mind him. Yeah, it's only one love and one love only.
Yeah, so that's sort of where I was coming up with the second love idea, really, which is that. Because even in my own personal like life, I look back on every love and I go, but I didn't love them fully. And every relationship I get into, and like now I'm more mature, I know how to love more fully. Because back then when I was a kid, I wasn't open, and I didn't love myself. And if I wasn't open and I couldn't love myself, I couldn't love them.
And we
So
don't know
it's
what
more-
love is back then. You know, we had to
Yeah.
learn what love is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a lot of learning
Yeah.
involved.
Do you think it's more based then on maturity or the right time more than how many times like you've learned to love?
Exactly. So I will actually take back what I just said. If you fall in love with one person and you stay with them your whole life, you can still learn to love them completely and fully.
It changes, yeah.
It changes over
Yeah.
time. So, yeah, definitely. It's more so about the maturity aspect of things. And I'm not.
Do you
on it.
think Do you think also, right, so learning to fall in love multiple times, could you also say, like, could that be learning how to manipulate love for yourself over and over again? Because you learn you learn about yourself and you know what you like and you know what you don't like. And let's say you were a particular person with certain aspects that most likely majority of people wouldn't really like or relate to. So could you say maybe love could also be manipulated, because I'll chill with you and ask you what you like and what you don't like, and I find out what you don't like, and that seems like, that seems like something that a lot of people wouldn't like. So I'll just go to you and tell you, like, and I wouldn't bring that up again with you, and do you get me? Like, I'll manipulate how love goes.
So I think there's two,
Yeah,
there's two
has been
things.
hurt.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, okay? I mean, like, haven't you learned that already? So I feel like some people have the ability to manipulate love, like, learn what you don't like, learn what you like, keep certain things away from you, because they've learned how to do that before.
So what I think, manipulate is a very triggering word. Do you mean more like a preference? Like, I've learned what I like and what I don't like.
Okay, for example, like, I'm very outspoken. So obviously I let my mouth run. If I'm around my friends, my sister, my mouth run. If I'm around the guy that I kind of like and I want him to be on my good side, I'll tone down a little bit, because I know he wouldn't like it. So
you think he wouldn't like it?
No, of course, just like from being around this person or whatever. So then I understand. Okay, so majority of people just like when you're quiet. Most guys like when you're quiet. So okay, cool. I learned that. So from the next guy, I'll be more quiet.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and the next guy, I'll be even more quiet.
Girl, you're a queen.
That's
Like,
I understand that.
No,
Obviously,
no,
that's
no,
not who
I
I
get
am.
that.
But
This
I'm
is the
saying,
thing.
can that be manipulated? Do you know what I'm saying?
She's doing what she wants to get what she wants.
Yeah.
You know, she's not changing her personality. She is literally manipulating a stranger.
Yeah. So I'm saying, that's
But no, you're 100% right.
She's
so
so
I
smart.
have. I have.
She gets in your head before you even know.
I've noticed this over the years. I feel like I'm getting better at making people fall in love with me, which is not a good thing. And it's something that I sometimes I'm overly conscious of.
Sorry. You should write a book about this. I would be like, number
I
one
sound
book.
like that guy Hitch, Learning how to manufacture an intimate moment is something I've done, especially because a lot of my songwriting is about intimacy. So a lot of my study is focused around intimacy. And so
how can you make that moment happen?
Exactly. And so like there's.
Well, if it depends, like, you have a lot of experience, so that does help. A lot of people are coming into situations or moments that they want to have a wholeful moment. They kind of cheat that because they haven't got the experience to know what to put in place to enjoy the moment as much.
Yeah, it comes with experience, I feel. Yeah, definitely. I feel like definitely for you to kind of feel like you have the chance to grasp
a lot on the
someone,
table.
it's it's a bit of experience.
Then it comes down to maturity and realizing that if you're manipulating somebody into liking
It's
you,
not.
it's probably not going to go that far. You know?
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, you never know. Have you seen the You? You on Netflix? Man, that went far.
You actually on the side though. I'm kind of like, why do I understand what he's saying?
I just like what you said about kind of changing love and falling in love for different times. Like, so before I get my chance to speak and Cynthia outs me, I came out as gay when I was 14, and I really thought that was going to be the only thing, because of, unfortunately, I grew up with a single mother, and I had too much respect for women. The women just they weren't a target. Like, when the lads that were around me, the way they kind of looked at women, I was like, no, that's not for me. Lads, yes, I can manipulate boys all the way. The boys, they fall for me straight away. And it was only then when I matured a little bit, as you were saying, Nathan, 19 years old, I was like, yeah, okay. I started getting with some women. I was chatting to women in clubs, I was bringing women home, I was kind of wanting to date and all. So it was new, it was different, but you can definitely...
there's a way you can be, there's a way you can be,
love like that can develop so quickly in such a short time, or take a really long time, maybe a seed that was planted that you just needed to kind of let it do its thing, and then it comes out. So.
I found that a lot of that stuff, learning to manipulate things and learning the tricks and all that, came in really handy when I was acting, because it was my first time ever acting on screen.
Really?
This film was, yeah.
Were you
And
not like super nervous? Like this is your whole
So here's the thing.
project.
I realized after the first day, I realized I haven't prepared enough. Oh my god! Because the first scene that I was in, was the most difficult one. It was where I had to be really emotional and I had all this dialogue and I had to do this whole
First
thing.
ever scene.
The first scene, I mean, I love you, Kiara. I love my director, but she did not think about
Shout out.
that. She did not.
Straight in.
She did not think, oh, Nathan might be worried about this scene. She's like, oh, Nathan's got this. Sure,
She
it's
probably
his
felt
film.
because you wrote it. Yeah, you wrote it and you were
You'd
the creator
think,
of the
right?
whole
You'd
thing.
think.
Like you
Yeah.
just
Yeah, but
storm in there.
I
and-
did. I forgot my own lines, which felt.
It was
weird.
probably more scary for you because you wrote it. That it's like people expect you to be completely ready to the first scene,
Yeah.
and then you feel
I think because of the way I portray myself, I come across as very confident. I come across as somebody who knows what they're doing, because most of the time I do. In this case, I didn't, and I actually was overconfident in my own abilities, so I didn't prepare as much as I should have.
Right.
So every other day I was like, I'm preparing so much, and I was like filtering through the script and all that. Luckily
But
enough,
that
there
is
was very
so
few
nice.
dialogue.
Can we just say a bit of self-reflection? That is so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Really
It's
is.
lovely, isn't
Yeah,
it? Like,
it's
I love people
yeah.
hearing that. Like, I love when someone says, yeah, I was doing this all great, but I realised that, you know, I could have taken a step back. So I'm just saying, pointing it out, that's
Yeah.
lovely. That's very
Yeah.
nice to
Yeah,
hear,
it's
because I feel
great.
like that's growth.
Yeah,
Growth.
absolutely. Like
Growth.
this is just that's why I wanted to have you on this podcast, because I just thought it's so inspiring and it's just absolutely amazing. I'm so excited to see the film. Like when
I'm
do you-
watching that thing.
like when
straight
will we
away.
see it? Like I know maybe I'm putting pressure
We're
on you,
having a
giving
movie
you
night.
you.
We're having a
Yes,
movie
we're
night.
having a premiere.
Private screening.
Yeah, a private screening. Ooh.
So I can say that the film will be out in May, June. Around May, June. It's going to
Wow.
be a couple of months out.
Okay.
Because there's loads to do with editing and sound,
Oh,
and I don't
I
understand
imagine.
any of that.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, okay, I'll accept what you do. And it's really handy because what I'm trying to do at the moment is I'm booking a show in advance so that I can set up my whole live show for the release of the album. So we'll be able to play every song from the album and do it properly with the backing tracks, with the band, really like.
Yeah.
And then we're going to screen the film as a support act. So we're going to
Can
screen
we
the
get
film.
tickets for this? Because
You-
this sounds deadly.
Yeah, we're going.
Like front
We're
row
going.
seats.
I normally would
Please.
promise you tickets, but it might be this might be a small venue because we've no money. But I will be
doesn't
sure
matter.
to let you know first when the tickets are
Send
out.
us a link.
Thank
Yes.
you. Yeah,
Straight away.
We'll be there,
Yes.
literally.
Yeah, we
I'm
will
like,
be
I'm like,
there.
I got time.
We're really,
But
really
thank
excited
you
to
for
see that.
creating
Thank
something
you.
like this, because it
Yeah.
takes so much time, you know, and it's scary doing these things. But like you did it, and you're creating art that everyone else can enjoy and
Yeah.
learn from. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
And it was scary. It was really scary. I'm in the year of courage at the moment, so I don't do resolutions. I'll do like a yearly theme, and what that tends to mean is that like say for instance, this is the year of courage. It doesn't mean I have to do anything specific, but it means every decision I make, I have to keep that in mind. Be courageous. And so I was making the decision: should I make this film? I did the budget out, and I had like €300 in my bank account. And we were being kicked out of our house. And I didn't have a job. I was on the social welfare. And I look at the budget and it's like €10,000. Fuck it, we'll do it.
We'll
Yeah.
find a way.
Yeah, that is
Find a way
amazing.
to make
Scan
it
Scan the
work.
welfare
Yeah.
and make films.
Nice.
It
Scan the
just
welfare and
shows
make
though, you
films.
still went for it, because a lot of people see that and people say don't do it, but you just were like, you know, I'm gonna do this because it's the year of courage, as
Yeah.
you said.
It is, and now, like, I don't know where do I draw the line between is it courageous or is it stupid? And I think
It's never stupid. I don't
No,
think it's
it's
no,
not
no,
chaos.
no, no, I feel like yeah. But in my eyes, like at the end of the day, if you look back to many people who have really, really made it, like, and I am an absolute like I feel like I feel like half of me is a bit of a nerd and I do a lot of research or whatever. But in my eyes, like a lot of people who have made it, not only just made it, like, but actually have really interesting stories are those who, you know, have actually slumped it. They have been in debt. They have lived in their mother's house. They have been in that kind of situation that if you have gone by them or seen them, you'd be like, oh, why would you do that? You know, I would have been that person like, oh, why would you do that? Just take it easy way. But you know what? But that's you know what? But that's the thing. Like, put yourself in the other person's shoes and look at them now. So like, it is like, you know, it is a learning moment for you. But it's really funny because, like, let's say a few years time, you'd be like, oh yeah, I did that, and then you're like, oh, my strong ass.
we'll see. When it gets to May, June, I'll have the movie finished. I'll have the album finished and released, and I'll have the live show ready to go. We'll do the premiere. We'll do the showcase, and we'll see where we go from there.
Brilliant.
This is gonna kick off. I'm telling
Yeah.
you. I'm proud. I'm like, he's Irish. He's
Yeah,
making movements.
yeah.
No, honestly,
Dublin needs
like,
If you need any
this is
cheerleaders,
amazing. I'm telling you, extras as well. We're there as
Where's
well.
the
Yeah.
IFB? Why is this lad not getting a fucking nice fat grant? Even
Yeah,
though they're saying
yeah,
they-
true,
they-
true,
the Irish,
true,
the
true.
fucking Minister for Arts and Culture does be saying shit
Yeah.
like this, like they're giving the green flag to 10, 11, 12 movies in Ireland. Where?
Yeah.
Listen, man, the
Think
sequel.
Ireland gets used
Yeah, this
for?
is a great
See the
example.
government
Yeah.
chat? The
Yeah.
sequel. Now
Yeah.
The
this-
investment, man. You
This
shouldn't
is
be
it.
having
The
to
grant, yeah.
Grant chat fucking pennies to get
Yeah.
money for it. Like,
Yeah.
A person with your amount of history
Yeah.
on work.
Yeah. No, you're
It's a
making great
situation when
moves.
people
Yeah.
are willing to give you money.
Yeah,
Like,
they should
are
be.
you
To
crazy?
keep the
You-
culture in Dublin
yeah.
alive as well, the film culture
Yeah.
in Dublin. Yeah.
But what I honestly really like about it is that a lot of people don't really like throw themselves into situations like you have, with, with the whole circus thing and doing things, crazy things like blowing fire out your mouth and putting, like
Yeah.
knives down your throat.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Moving your organs.
you know? So
Yeah.
I feel like I love that you've gone through this experience and this journey and then made a movie so other people can go through that with you. I know
Yeah.
it's not exactly the same because you've gone through it, but at least we get to like experience it a little bit on an amazing journey that you've taken.
Absolutely, yeah, it's so inspirational. Thank you so much, Nathan. I have to wrap it up there. Unfortunately, I could talk about this for days and days. It's so
it's
interesting,
amazing.
it's so
Amazing,
brilliant, so brilliant.
seriously.
But
We'll
yeah,
keep chatting after
thank
this.
you so
Yes,
much, Nathan,
definitely.
and
Thank
we're
you all
going
for
to
having
look
me.
forward
Thank
to
you.
seeing the film
And
Learning
where
Curve.
can we find your music? Sorry.
So I've got a website, nathanmacmusic.com. Yeah, it's fancy. But I'm also everywhere, every streaming platform. Nathan Mac. And that's MAC.
Mac.
You got it.
Not Mac like a Big Mac. Mac.
It
No,
is
no.
Mac
That's
like
it,
a-
yeah,
It is
thank
Mac
you.
like it is Mac like a big.
MAC.
That's a big Mac.
Oh my
Spell
God.
it MAC.